It's time to hit the red line. No doubt, the 2000s were a golden era for Japanese sports cars. Lightweight, turbo-fed machines roared out of Tokyo, Hiroshima, and Tochigi, ready to tear up the streets and dominate the circuits. These weren't just cars, they were predators with one thing everyone wanted: speed. Number 1. Nissan 300ZX. This is the machine that redefined fast in the 90s. It was like driving a Japanese time machine built for the future back in the 90s. A car that did not just flex power, but flexed brains. From 1989 to 2000, the 300ZX was a statement, when Japan kept it alive even after the US let it go. This wide-hipped car was packed with twin turbos, which made it scream past 60 in just over 5 seconds. It came as a two-seater or a 2+2, the one people dreamed about. And the most interesting part was its super high-class four-wheel steering, where rear wheels helped you corner just wild. When you slide into the driver's seat, you will feel like you are facing a cockpit and not a dashboard. The whole car feels like it was engineered by a team of sci-fi nerds with a racing addiction. When you hit the throttle, a VG30 DET 3.0L twin-turbo V6 wakes up like it's late to the track, as precise as a Japanese sword slicing through G-forces. Now comes the looks. It is just too sharp, with a wedge profile and pop-up headlights. Its aerodynamics were not just for show, they made this a high-speed beast with a limiter set at 155 mph. So if you're talking about Japanese speed in the 2000s, don't even think of skipping the 300ZX. It wasn't just ahead of its time, and it just broke the timeline per se. Its production was wrapped up in 1996 in the US, but Japan kept the engine roaring as the Fairlady Z until mid-2000, and the result of it was a raw blend of tech and torque. Number 2. Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4. What happens when a car company throws every bit of futuristic tech it has into one car? You got my point, right? And yes, that is a Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 for you. Also known as the GTO in Japan, this was Mitsubishi's big swing at the performance world, and man, they just swung hard. It has twin turbos, all-wheel drive, all-wheel steering, and an active aero. The electronically adjustable suspension and variable exhaust are features that make this car stand out. This thing was real, it was loud, and it was way ahead of its time. Just drop into sport mode, the suspension will tighten up, and the front lip will drop like it's ready to hunt. Under the hood, we have a 3.0L twin-turbo V6, pushing 300 HP and 307 lb-ft of torque, with all that twist arriving at just 2,500 RPM. Number 3. Acura NSX. What if a Ferrari had Honda reliability and everyday comfort? That's exactly what the Acura NSX brought to the table. It just literally sent shockwaves through the supercar world when it landed in 1990. This was not just another fast car, it was Honda's answer to Ferrari's 328 and 348. It was much lighter, sharper, and smarter than what Ferrari could bring into the market. Built with an all-aluminum body and chassis, which was one of the world's first, the NSX was featherweight, agile, and beautifully balanced in tech and look. Now, under the hood, there is a high-revving 3.0L V6 VTEC masterpiece with titanium connecting rods and an 8,000 RPM redline, which can scream like a beast in a race. But here is where it gets even cooler. Ayrton Senna, one of the greatest F1 drivers of all time, helped fine-tune its chassis. He drove it hard, pushed it to the edge, and gave Honda engineers feedback that redefined the frame and sharpened the handling. And the result was a car that felt like a scalpel on track, but was still soft enough to daily drive. It's sleek and has a low-slung design, inspired by fighter jets, and inside it was all about the driver with perfect sightlines and an engine that sat right behind your spine. But was it the fastest car on paper? Number 4. Toyota MR2. Think you need a fat wallet to experience mid-engine magic? Toyota didn't think so, and they proved it with the MR2. It was small, sharp, and always ready to play. From 1990 to 2007, the MR2 evolved through two very different but equally fun generations. First came the W20 from 1990 to 1999, which was a curvy aerodynamic machine with real style. It had pop-up headlights, turbocharged power, and a rear-wheel drive layout. making it street-worthy. Especially the turbo model with an insane 2.0 L3S GTE engine, which pushed up to 200 HP. It was not just quick, it was rapid, where you didn't just drive it, but you wore it. But it was not all perfect. Toyota tweaked the suspension later on, and just like that, it became one of the sharpest handling cars of the decade. Then came the W30 from 2000 to 2007, which was smaller, lighter, and fully embracing the roadster vibe. It refined the old turbo, but kept the soul. With a 1.8L engine and a featherweight chassis, the MR2 Spider was not about power, it was about feel. You could throw it into corners with one hand and still come out in style. Through every gen, the MR2 kept its mid-engine, rear-wheel drive layout alive, just like a Ferrari. Only this one didn't break down or break the bank as time went by. Inside, it was basic, but on point as always. Just you, the wheel, and the road. A budget sports car that punched way above its weight. Today, the MR2s are a cult hero. Fun, affordable, and loaded with character. Whether you're into turbocharged torque or top-downs, the MR2 had a version for you. It was the giant slayer in a tiny package, and the sports car world still misses it. Number 5. Mazda RX-7 FD. Ever heard a car that sounds like it's from another planet? That high-pitched wail with an insane boost and a lightweight body. Yes, that's the Mazda RX-7 FD, Japan's most iconic rotary-powered rocket. By 1992, Mazda was ruling the Japanese market. While other manufacturing companies were obsessed with V6 and inline-4s, they doubled down on their tiny twin-rotor 13B REW rotary engine. Just 1.3 liters, twin turbos. It was enough to rocket the RX-7 from 0-60 in under 5 seconds. Going fast while not making it a big deal, and that was Mazda. The RX-7 was built to move. It was just under 300 kilograms, therefore a lightweight car. It had a 50-50 weight distribution, double suspension, and razor-sharp steering, like a machine that responded as if it were wired into your brain. But what made it special was the feeling. The way it carved corners was so effortless. The way the turbos kick in around 4,000 RPM and fly you down the road is just insane. Number 6. Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 7, 2001. This is what happens when you drop World Rally Championship tech into a 4-door sedan. And that is Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 7 for you. In 2001, Mitsubishi was not playing by the rules. They ditched Group A restrictions and let their engineers off the leash. And the result was a heavier but way smarter Evolution built on the Lancer Sedia platform, loaded with game-changing tech. Don't let the 4 doors fool you, because this thing could rip apart corners like nothing else. Its biggest flex was the Active Center Differential, ACD, which is an electro-hydraulic wizard that could adjust torque split on the ride. It is combined with Active Yaw Control, AYC, and a new front helical LSD to unleash the real power. And now comes the power. It is still officially capped at 276 HP, but torque was up to 283 lb-ft, thanks to a tighter twin-scroll turbo setup. It pulled harder, smoother, and earlier than any Evo before it. And let's talk about the feel. It has a sharp steering, Brembo brakes that were kind of rare at that time, and a chassis stiffened with over 200 extra welds. Mitsubishi shaved off some of its weight with thinner glass and aluminum body parts, keeping the scale around 3,086 lbs. It was a way to make it more refined, but still raw where it counted. The Evo 7 was a turning point. It was not just brutal, but was brilliant. A beast made for real-world roads. Number 7. Nissan Skyline GT-R R34. But the R34 was not just about power, and the Atessa ETS Pro all-wheel drive system, along with active LSD, made it even smarter. Inside, it was ahead of its time. The multi-function display, MFD, was to show live performance data like boost, temps, throttle input, all straight from the ECU. No other car back then made you feel like a race engineer while driving, and the design of it was so timeless. Wide stance with boxy aggression, which looked just right. The R34 was more than a car, it was a moment in time. It was a video game and movie stardom at the same time. It was forbidden fruit in the US for years, which only made them crave it even harder. Fast, sharp, tunable, and legendary, and maybe words can't describe it enough. The R34 GTR was the peak of the Skyline era, and to this day, it is still the one everyone dreams about. Number 8. Acura Integra. Type R. The loudest thing about this car would have been the red line. That's the vibe of the Integra Type R. No turbos, no shortcuts, just 8,400 RPM of pure, screaming VTEC loud. It was built between 1995 and 2001, and the Type R was not about style, it was about feel. It came out with a hand-built 1.8-litre DOHC VTEC engine pumping out 195 HP, which might not sound like much today until you drive one. It can just race past everything with raw mechanical violence, and its power band is just explosive. And that 5-speed manual is short, slick, and more addictive than your favorite playlist for sure. But Honda didn't stop at the engine. They refined the car even deeper, till the chassis, adding seam welds, upgrading the suspension, and dropping the sound. Can you believe the car weighed just under 2,600 LABs, and every ounce was built for one thing: speed through corners? The Type R was the opposite of the boring 90s style. It was focused, balanced, and too sharp, with no AWD or forced induction. And yeah, it starred in The Fast and the Furious, because of course it did. The world needed to see what Japan's front-wheel drive king could do. In a world of muscle and noise, the Integra Type R whispered, "I am the best." Today, it's a unicorn and a purist's dream, and for those who've driven it, there's no replacement. Number 9. Honda S2000. Meet the Honda S2000, the top-down thrill machine that proved you don't need turbos, all-wheel drive, or fancy tech to have a blast behind the wheel. Launched in 2000, the S2000 was built to celebrate Honda's 50th anniversary, and boy, did they flex. No doubt. It is a sleek, low-slung roadster with a 2.0L inline-4 VTEC engine that made 240 HP and a jaw-dropping 9,000 RPM. Yes, a Formula One standard with no turbo lag. Just pure screaming power to the red line. In the Honda S2000, the engine sat behind the front axle, giving it a perfect 50-50 weight distribution. Then they add in a sharp 6-speed manual, double suspension all around, and an ultra-stiff chassis. And you've got a car that has to be driven hard, everywhere, every time. And now comes the steering. It is electric, responsive, and full of feel. It will tell you everything the road was thinking. In 2004, Honda dropped the S2000 AP2, bumping engine size to 2.2L for more accessible torque and refining the handling without losing its life. This car didn't care about luxury, it was all about one thing: the drive. Therefore, the cabin was tight, the dash digital, and the driving position was too perfect. The S2000 didn't just live up to the hype, it just outdid it. Number 10. Nissan GT-R R35. What do you call a car built by hand and faster than almost everything on the road? You call it the Nissan GT-R R35. When it was dropped in 2007, the GT-R punched its way into the supercar world. It was powered by a 3.8L twin-turbo V6, pushing 480 horsepower. It blasted from 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds and hit a top speed of 193 mph. But numbers only tell half the story. Each engine was hand-assembled by one of Nissan's 4 elite Takumi craftsmen. That's right, every GT-R heart was built like a custom watch. And when that engine came alive, that sound, that pull was addictive to the racing freaks. But do you know what the real secret sauce was? Tech. The GT-R was packed with a dual-clutch transmission inspired by Formula One. It had an advanced all-wheel drive system that could split torque between the front and rear wheels. And from outside, it looked wide, angular, and too precise. Every vent, every line, every mirror was tuned to slice air and fly fast. It was heavy for sure, but it carried its weight like a champ. What set the GT-R apart was accessibility. If you flip it into auto mode, it behaves like a quiet daily. But once you hit R mode, you'd better hold on. It was raw, refined, and ruthless. The GT-R R35 was not just Japan's answer to European exotics. It became a new question. Is Japan going to be the new hub for fast cars? So which sports car hit the spot for you? Let me know in the comments. smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content.